All right. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. You are listening to WJOB 1230 AM and 104.7 FM in Hammond, Indiana, and it's the morning call with Tom Dabertin. Good morning to all. Great to talk to you this morning. 845-1100 is the number to call. We're going to be here until 8:30, and the town of Dyer will take over. And it's just one of those days that you probably, if you don't have to go into work, roll back, stay in bed for a few more minutes. It's kind of raining outside, kind of nasty, very cold, very windy. But we're going to get you through it, and we're going to have a lot of fun, and we hope you're going to call and talk to us this morning at 845-1100. But before we do anything else, we're going to do traffic and weather together, and we're going to settle a long-standing debate here at WJOB with Lynette. And I'll explain that in just a second. But let me do traffic. Traffic actually doesn't look bad in the Chicago area right now. Northwest Indiana, you're in good shape on 8094, the toll road, Klein Avenue, I-65, all look pretty decent. However, when you get across the line into Illinois, the usual problem, the Dan Ryan is backed up now to 43rd. So if you're going into the city, you may want to consider Lakeshore Drive this morning. Looks pretty decent right now. Otherwise, 294, the Stevenson, the Eisenhower, and even the Kennedy look pretty good. So the only real problem right now is on the Dan Ryan, which a lot of people from Northwest Indiana would be taking if you're going toward the city or toward O'Hare. But before we get to weather, I'd like to show something on the camera this morning. So this is Lynette's car. I wiped it down this morning with this tissue, and you can just see this little bit of dirt. This is my car that gets washed every week and sits in my garage. She says she never washes her car. Now, we see once and for all that Lynette probably washes that car twice a day because that car is unbelievably clean. It looks great, but it's going to get rained on this morning. And with that, Lynette is going to do the weather. And she's like, yeah, I'll get even with you. So go ahead.
Good morning, everyone. Today we're at 36 degrees with highs of 37 and lows of 27. We'll be having winds gusting past 40 miles per hour. It should be cloudy and colder with a few stray snowflakes. And then later tonight we'll be having strong winds and should be cloudy. And then tomorrow and Thursday we'll be having highs of 34 and lows of 23 and should be brisk and cold with more clouds than sun. And then Friday we'll be having highs of 34 and lows of 26 and should be partly sunny and cold and you should bundle up for holiday shopping.
Yeah, and you're going to your cousin's for Thanksgiving dinner,
I am.
right? And by the way, I just got a message from Mark from Hobart who says the volume is a little low, yours and mine. So we
Is
need to
it?
turn up our volume a little bit. That's Mark from Hobart, and he's right on target on things. So my volume comes up and your volume comes up.
Let me know if that's better.
Yeah, Mark, let us know if that's better. We increase the volume. So, so do you go shopping the day after Thanksgiving or not?
I already did all my shopping.
Oh, gee. Oh, my gosh.
Yep.
You did?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you're off the air. That's it. I'm going to be here by myself. Watch me screw up the whole station. I mentioned this to you before we got on the air this morning. This is a tip from Fire Chief Bernie Grisolia of the Hammond Fire Department. There was a fire near me just the other night. I think it was Sunday night. It was caused by lithium battery chargers in the garage and did some pretty decent damage to the garage. They were able to strike the fire pretty quickly. But Bernie Chief Grisolia points out that if you have lithium batteries for your yard equipment or for woodworking, like I have a whole basement full. His point was, I know you've got a bunch of them. He suggested you unplug those chargers once the battery charges. It won't lose the charge for about 60 days. And his point is that those batteries get overheated and they can burst into flame and start a fire. So we want to avoid that. So there's the safety tip of the day. And yes, Mark from Hobart says, thumbs up, we're doing well. So 845-1100 is the number to call. We'll talk about anything this morning, but I want to start a tradition here. I did this a couple of years ago. It was kind of fun. When you call in, I just ask that you bring up some suggestion of giving thanks for all the wrong reasons. Okay, so we've already got one from Mark from Hobart says he's giving thanks for Illinois drivers for messing up traffic in Indiana. And I added one. giving thanks for people who wear pajama pants out in public to go shopping. So, Lynette, it's your turn. You could give thanks for idiots that wipe Kleenexes on your car.
I'm thankful for not getting a raise, so I can barely afford my parents' Christmas gifts.
Not getting a raise. There you go. Okay.
That's a joke, by the way,
No,
in
no,
case
of
Jim is
course.
listening.
Yeah, he's not. He's definitely not. 845-1100 is the number to call. John Wilkening's going to join us in a little bit as well. Um, there are a couple of stories that are worth some serious note. This one about the 6 members of Congress and the investigation now into possible sedition. I talked to a couple of veterans yesterday, and I was a little surprised. One in particular who has told me he's not a fan of Donald Trump. He's a diehard Democrat, and said, "Look, I was a sergeant in the Marine Corps, and you keep your mouth shut about the chain of command." And he was very upset about what was being said in those videos. So I was really shocked because I thought he was going to take the other side. I talked to 2 other veterans who said as well, you know what? I was in the military. I'm retired. I keep my mouth shut. And I know I don't talk about chain of command. And so they were very adamant about that. So I'm sure Walt and others, I'd love to hear from them this morning and hear their views. And anything else you want to talk about, you also can call in and give thanks for good things. There's a lot of good things to give thanks for this year, and we want to celebrate that as well. So 845-1100, we've got a couple of callers, so we'll go right to the callers. Good morning, you're on the air.
Good morning. You're saying Thanksgiving for, what you're saying. Thanksgiving for when I'm standing in a line checking out, the person in front of me unloading their cart onto the conveyor belt and talking on their phone.
Oh, that's a great one. So in the checkout
Yes.
line, and the person is talking on their phone.
Yes. Now, I got a big Thanksgiving I have to give out, and then I'm not going to, I don't know if it's going to be politics involved, but I got to talk about a tax and a tariff. It's kind of humorous after I finish, but
All right.
July 9th, when my situation happened, I have to give a big Thanksgiving to the Delo family for keeping this station in operation and the way it is and how they help this community and do good things for everybody in this area. The second thing is everybody that day, each and every one and everybody that came to the situation that happened with me. There were so many people that helped me out. I can't name all the names, but I'm going to have to say 2 of them because it was mostly important. It was you, Tom, Paul Goddard, and Dave and MS. That was the most important situation that came out of this thing. But all the other people, thank you from my heart. If I had to ever do something, I'd do for each and every one that helped.
Well, I think everybody, I think I speak for everyone. We're all happy that you're doing well and that you're still with us and you're able to call in and enjoy Thanksgiving.
Now, I want to talk I want to speak. I know now tomorrow and Christmas is going to be your time for cooking all these pies, right?
Yeah, I do make pies. My peanut butter pie. I make an apple crumble pie. I make a number of pies. Yes, I do. I enjoy it. I enjoy eating them.
Oh, yes. My favorite is pumpkin pie. But now, on taxes and tariffs, okay, when you give somebody a gift, do you have to pay a tax on that?
Boy, that's a good question. I don't know. I'm sure there are people out there that do, but I don't know. I don't think you'd have to. I know that I take that back. I mean, if somebody gave you $100,000, I think you'd have to report that as income. I think up to $10,000. I'm going to check that. Keep on talking. I'm going to check.
Yeah. Okay, but that's the reason I'm bringing the taxes in because now Santa Claus is going to leave out Christmas Eve and deliver all the presents as gifts to all the children and everybody in the world, okay, is he going to have to pay all these tariffs now? Is Santa Claus is going to have to charge? He's going to have to charge for the gifts because of all the tariffs on his gifts.
Well, I'm not sure, but I did find this. So there's an annual exclusion for the tax year 2025. Individuals can give up to $19,000 to a recipient without incurring any gift tax or having any reporting requirements. So you could give me $19,000 and I don't have to pay taxes according to this.
Well, I know the president pardoned 2 turkeys, but I think the president's going to be nice and not charge Santa Claus tariffs on, so he can give all the children and everybody in this world wonderful gifts on Christmas Day. You know, I think he's going to pardon.
I think he's finally recognizing that tariffs on the junk that comes from China is one thing, but tariffs on anything related to food, for example, is driving up the cost of living here, and he's pulled those tariffs off. I have been agitated. Mike, I love orange juice. I really do. And Donna will tell you I've not been drinking orange juice because I refuse to pay $4 a half gallon. And I noticed that orange juice now has dropped down to about $3.59 a gallon or half gallon because of the relaxing of tariffs on Brazilian oranges. So, I just think it's ridiculous to have tariffs in place on food. That's nuts.
Okay.
We've suffered enough. We need to drive prices down, not prices up. So.
Okay, now I'm going to let you go in a second, but from my heart to every single listener and their family and everybody that listens to this wonderful station, all of your family and every single person out there listening from this radio station, just have a wonderful and a blessed Thanksgiving.
You as well, Mike. Thanks so much for calling. Thank you. 845-1100 is the number to call. We've got more callers. Good morning. You're on the air.
Why, good morning and happy Thanksgiving to you, Tom, and the staff at WJOB. Safety Steve calling and just saying, hey, I want all the residents of Hammond to have a safe and happy Thanksgiving. And you know what? You got to be proud of that Bernie Graziola for the job that he's doing. We both got to see him grow up from a young person to a wonderful young man who has really fulfilled some big shoes, and he's doing a wonderful job. And, Tom, my safety tip of the day, because I know this is going to happen tomorrow, if somebody is going to be doing one of those turkeys in hot oil, make sure that baby is super dry. And by all means, please do it outside and away from the garage in the house.
Boy, that's for sure, Steve. You see it every year. You see it every year.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, you're going to see it. You watch tomorrow. It's going to happen. There's going to be some more fire just from something that careless. But you know what? We have to be very careful and keep kids away from the oven, and always make sure that those ovens are fastened to the back of the walls. Because a lot of times when kids are looking for things in the cabinetry, they'll pull that door open and they'll climb on top of it, and that oven has a tendency to fall over on top of them. And then while you're cooking tomorrow, the little arms or the handles on your pots, always face them away where kids can grab them. And that's my safety tip for Thanksgiving.
Wow, great safety tips. Now, Steve, I've got to ask you, number one, what's the weather out by you right now?
Right now it's 52 degrees, which is chilly for us. So all that, and we're going to have some cool weather this whole week. So what that means for you guys in northwest Indiana is the weather patterns always go westward, eastward. So you can look forward to maybe some surprise of some snow if this cool weather continues going your way. But I can tell you this, we had a week long of rain. So about today, you guys should be catching that. And if that's the case, you're going to have 3 days of some tough weather ahead of you.
Well, we had some rain yesterday morning. We had some rain overnight and rain just about an hour ago. So you're right on target. Now, Steve, keeping with the theme of the day, do you have something that you want to give thanks for all the wrong reasons? So this is just something that you want to give thanks for something for all the wrong reasons.
You know what? I really want to give thanks to our president of the United States, who's going through so much difficulty right now, and the fact that I'm just thankful that he's not being bought off by lobbyists, and he's got an uphill battle. And you know what? I'm giving thanks to that we have a man that is trying to make America safer and a better place for us to live.
All right, so I'm going to put down that the president's not getting bought off by lobbyists.
Right. I love it.
All right. Hey, thanks so much, Steve. Have a great Thanksgiving. We'll talk soon.
You got it. Bye-bye, sir.
Bye-bye. All right, 845-1100. Oh, boy. I'm typing at the same time. Sorry. Yeah, there's another reason to give thanks for all the wrong reasons. A guy who's hosting the radio who can't even talk. 845-1100. We've got more callers. Good morning. You're on the air.
Morning. Just wanted to touch base with something that, or touch on something that Trucker Mike was talking about with the tariffs. I was going through my bank statement the other day, and I noticed that there was a $5 charge on my online subscription for the Times. And when I called about it, they said, yeah, it had to do with the tariffs. I said, what tariffs? It's a digital, it's a digital subscription, and even if it wasn't, as the crow flies, it's 6 miles from my house. What tariff?
Oh, that's a great one. I've got to add that to the list. So the Times charging for tariffs.
A $5 surcharge because of the tariffs. Yes. So I want to say that I'm thankful for corporate greed.
Oh my gosh, that really happened?
Yes.
Unbelievable. That's insane. I mean, look, the Times. That I wish somebody would call in. Mark Chase, you need to call in this morning. I know Mark listens. He's a friend of mine. I hate to put him on the spot, but they're charging a surcharge for tariffs now.
Well, it was only 1 month that they did it, but it was still, they put it. Yeah, the service charge was, when I asked about it, they said because of the tariffs. I said, what tariff? It's a digital subscription.
But you know what? Now think about it. When you call their customer service, you usually get somebody that has a foreign accent, so it's probably an overseas location. So maybe there is maybe there's a tariff on those people that provide the customer service at the Times. Oh, is that a great one? That is a great one. You've got the number one. We're going to vote at the end of the day, and I think you're in the number one position right now. That's great. That is great.
So I want to and to go along with Safety Steve's safety tips. For those of you that are going to in-laws for dinner tomorrow, if the mother-in-law asks how everything is, the safety tip is to say everything is delicious.
I think you're right on target on that one. Hey, thanks so much for the call. Have a great Thanksgiving. 845-1100 is the number to call. We've got some more callers. But I'll tell you what, why don't we take a break? If you want to give us a call, We'll be right back after these commercial messages. You're listening to the Morning Call on WJOB 1230 AM, 104.7 FM. All right, we're back, and again, 845-1100 is the number to call. And kind of a lighthearted thing. You can talk about anything you want, but giving thanks for all the wrong reasons. All right, and in the pole position right now is the Times charging a surcharge for tariffs, example of corporate greed, and number two, according to our distinguished panel, which are personalities stuck somewhere in the back of my head, is not getting a raise, so I can't afford gifts for Christmas, is in the number two position. 845-1100 is the number to call. I think of Thanksgiving, and there's lots of great things to give thanks for, and certainly my wife, my children, my family, my friends, my dogs, and even the memory of Duke, my golden retriever that passed this year. There's lots of great reasons to celebrate Thanksgiving, but it's also fun to take a look at a lighthearted view of Thanksgiving. This day and age, we've become kind of a cynical society, if you will. So I figured, well, let's keep a list of giving thanks for all the wrong reasons, and we are up to 6 so far. So we need some more suggestions. So if you're listening, 845-1100 is the number to call. We've got callers. Good morning. You're on the air.
Morning, Tom.
Good morning. So do you have a suggestion for our list?
Well, I'll have to start off with Saturday we went out of town to have early Thanksgiving with our older son and granddaughter. So I guess I'm thankful for our granddaughter for giving food away to other people and we didn't get no leftovers.
Okay, so giving thanks for all the wrong reasons, no leftovers, right?
What?
So again, the to add to the list, no leftovers.
Yeah, she gave them all away to neighbors and other people.
All right, we'll add that to the list. That's a good one.
Okay, and I just want to tell everybody Happy Thanksgiving.
Well, same to you. Happy Thanksgiving to you as well. Thanks for
Okay,
calling.
y'all have a good day.
All righty, thanks for calling. 845-1100, we've got another caller. Good morning, you're on the air.
Yeah, I just want to share a couple things that I'm thankful for.
Sure.
First and foremost are all the accurate and concise traffic reports that, who's the other producer? Adriana?
Yes.
Yeah, all the very accurate and concise traffic reports that she gives on the radio. That's one thing I'm thankful for.
All right.
And all the cogent, coherent, thoughtful nuggets of wisdom that Trucker Mike likes to bestow upon us every single day. Those are two things that I'm thankful for.
Okay.
Hello?
All the coherent and thoughtful nuggets of advice.
Wisdom.
Wisdom. I'm sorry, wisdom.
That
Wisdom.
Trucker Mike bestows on the listening audience every morning. That's what I'm thankful for as well.
All right, that's pretty good. Again, do you have anything that you really want to give thanks for this year?
Not really.
You sure? Nothing?
It's business as usual. I'm happy the direction the country's going, and then every day on this side of the dirt is a good day for me. So I guess I'm thankful for that.
You know what? I'm with you on that. For the longest time, it seemed like you never thought about your position in life, and then I hit 65 this year, and all of a sudden I realized, when people talk about, oh my gosh, that guy he lived to be 90, and it's like, okay, but that's only 25 more years. Your mortality kind of catches up with you at some point. So you're right.
Yeah, and you come to terms with your mortality at some point. I'll be 61 in February. I'm kind of in the same boat you are. There is one thing I am genuinely thankful for, though, since we're talking about it.
Sure, what's that?
And it's the fact that there's at least one day we can tune into WJOB and have an enjoyable listening experience, and that's Wednesday mornings.
Wow, thank you very much. That was very nice of you. Thank you so much.
So with that, I wish you a happy Thanksgiving.
Well, I wish you a happy Thanksgiving right back. Thanks for calling. 845-1100 is the number to call. So that was a very nice compliment. Very nice. So we've got a list now. We're up to 9. I like the one about no leftovers, all the food was given away. That's pretty good.
I just want to say all of the producers are really bad at reading traffic,
Well,
and we know that.
well that's why Jed actually came up with the idea that guys like myself would read it, simply because we know all those roads. Like Jed said, after you've been driving for roughly 50 years now, maybe a little more in my case because I started driving before it was legal for me to do so. You know all the highways, and you know all the shortcuts and all the ways around the city and everywhere else. So if you're giving traffic, you're able to give those shortcuts and those detours. 845-1100. We've got some more callers. Good morning. You're on the air.
Yeah, I'm also thankful for the one day of sanity on WJOB too.
Wow, thank you very much. Now, what about something lighthearted, or was that your giving thanks for all the wrong reasons?
No, I'll tell you later. I'll give you an update. I'm driving around now, and I'm telling you, this wind is serious. And if anybody had any leaves piled up on the curb waiting for any of your towns to come pick them up, they're probably gone. Because, this wind is serious this morning.
And did you see what the gusts are supposed to be at noontime?
Thank God I'm not flying into Midway.
Well, the gusts, though, at noontime are supposed to be over 50 miles an hour.
Yeah, I just picked up all my wife's Christmas decorations off the front yard, and I'm out driving around, and these leaves are blowing everywhere, and I'm getting to Strack and Van Til before all the crazies get out.
Oh, okay. So is that your giving thanks for all the wrong reasons, going to Strax before the crazies get there?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah. So you got all your shopping done?
For Thanksgiving, absolutely. Yeah, we did it this weekend. I've got the turkey. The turkey is thawing. I don't buy this bologna. You know how they tell you, put the turkey in for 5 days in your refrigerator? It's still as hard as a bowling ball. So yesterday I put it out on the counter for about 6 hours, and I'm going to do that again today. But I've got just about everything. I know there's something I'm going to forget, and that's going to be one of the worst things about tomorrow is I'm going to end up having to get up and go stand in line at Strack and Van Til, waiting for everybody and their brother who waits till the last minute for me to pick up that one item. It'll be something small. It'll be like green onions or something. I need some extra black pepper. Something stupid that I forgot. But I think I've got everything else.
That's what I'm doing. I'm going to get three stupid things. That's what I'm doing right now, and I suggest anybody just get out this morning, turn on WJOB, listen to radio, and get out early and go get it.
Oh, absolutely. That's some great advice this morning because that wind is going to get so much worse. I mean, you get 50 miles an hour. The last time we had gusts over 50 miles an hour in this kind of weather, I remember that they actually shut down the Skyway for about an hour. You couldn't get back from the city on the Chicago Skyway.
So this reminds me. Do you remember several years ago? I think it was several years ago. Do you remember when they evacuated Soldier Field because of a tornado warning?
I do remember that. Yes, I do remember it.
Well, I was in Denver, Colorado, flying back to Chicago to Midway. And we got delayed because of those storms. And after the storms passed through, the wind was 45, 50 miles per hour. And I never thought I was so close to dying in my life than being on that airplane coming into Midway.
Oh, there's no margin for error at Midway. There is
treacherous.
None. I mean,
it was treacherous.
Yeah, look, you look at Midway Airport, and again, when you're landing, all you need is just that little wind shear, that little side wind to push you down on somebody's swimming pool in their backyard. I always sit there as we're landing. I'm always looking for swimming pools, hoping that if there's an accident, that we're going to hit a pool and break our collision. I mean, it is scary, and when the wind picks up, that's a frightening place to be landing. That's for sure.
Yeah, so God bless everybody flying into Midway today. You're probably going to lose about a pound or two flying in because of the sweat you're going to sweat,
I agree with you. I agree. Hey, thanks so much for calling. Have a great Thanksgiving.
Have a great Thanksgiving, Tom.
And we just got another text message, this one from Trucker Mike. Jed singing on WJOB radio. That's a good one. That's moving up. That's moving up according to our official judges who are in the back of my mind. They're figments of my imagination. The judges have spoken, and that one has now moved into the number 3 position. 845-1100 is the number to call. We're going to take your calls about anything, but especially about giving thanks for all the wrong reasons, all the goofy things that bother you. I mean, I think Trucker Mike mentioned standing in the checkout line with the person in front of you talking on their phone, taking their time. We had a great one about not getting a raise, so I can't afford gifts for Christmas. Won't say who gave that one. Illinois drivers messing up traffic for people in Indiana. People who wear pajama pants out in public to go shopping in. The traffic reports, we talked about that a little just a few minutes ago. Going to Strax before the crazies get there. I like that one. So 845-1100, give us your reasons for giving thanks for all the wrong reasons this Thanksgiving holiday. And also, if you want to talk about anything else and you want to talk about giving thanks for all the right reasons, we'll be glad to take that call as well. We're going to be here until 8:30 this morning. There was a disturbing story that came out yesterday on social media about Mayor Josh Huddleston, who's been on with me before, from Hobart, that somebody targeted his kids and sent his kids a gift. And I don't know what the gift was, but he seemed to be very upset. And I just think it's absolutely reprehensible. Look, people, folks, you don't agree with politicians, it's one thing. But don't take it out on the politicians' kids, all right? You don't like Tom McDermott, that's fine, but don't take it out on his kids. His kids are great kids. Leave them alone. Leave Mayor Huddleston's kids alone. Leave anybody's kids, anybody's family, their spouse, their mother, their father, their children, their relatives. Leave them all alone. Leave their pets alone. That's just wrong. Don't target anybody to begin with. But if you're going to take it out on them, if you're going to send them a nasty letter or something, don't send it to the kids. Whatever you do, let's make sure that we act with a level of civility in our debates. I mean, you don't like me, that's fine, but you know what? Donna's a really nice person. Get to know her. Don't blame her for anything I say on the radio, and certainly don't blame my daughter or son or my dogs. Besides, Luna and Sophie probably would agree with you. Donna was gone for a couple of days. She went out to see her son in Iowa, who was a teacher. He had to have some wisdom teeth pulled, so she was gone, and the dogs kind of looked at me like, okay, well, you're going to get this show on the road. You're going to feed us on time. You're going to take us for a walk on time, because Donna takes the dogs for a walk about 3 times a day. I take them once or twice. So I think my dogs were truly thankful to see Donna return yesterday so that they would get fed on time and they would also get their walks on time. 845-1100 is the number to call. And again, we'll talk about anything you want to talk about, but the theme of the day is giving thanks for all the wrong reasons. So got another one, and that is giving thanks to Al Gore for inventing the internet. So there's one. All right. So we'll take your suggestions however we get them, and again, we'll be here until 8:30. We probably should do traffic, actually, since we had the one comment about traffic before. And I'm looking at the traffic update. Again, I-65 is in remarkably good shape. Down as far as we can see. So that's down to about Rensselaer. It looks like it's in good shape. 8094 is in good shape. US 30 is in good shape. Toll Road, Skyway, Klein Avenue, all fine. But when you get into Illinois, you've got backups forming on the Dan Ryan Expressway. It is down to right around Pershing now. And interestingly enough, the outbound is clear. Looking at the Bishop Ford, we're in okay shape. 294, we're pretty good. Remarkably, the Kennedy is in good shape. Eisenhower, Stevenson all look fine. So the only real pinch point right now in traffic is the Dan Ryan. Now today they say is a bad day for traffic, but I think yesterday was even worse. So we're in pretty good shape But we'll keep on giving traffic updates, and we'll give weather updates as well. So with that, Lynette, you want to do weather again?
Good morning, everyone. Today we're at 36 degrees with highs of 37 and lows of 27. We'll be having winds gusting past 40 miles per hour. Should be cloudy and colder with a few stray snowflakes. And later tonight, strong winds and rather cloudy. And snow should be starting in about 37 minutes. Tomorrow on Thursday, we'll be having highs of 34 and lows of 23. Should be brisk and cold with more clouds than sun. And then Friday, we'll be having highs of 34 and lows of 26, and should be partly sunny and cold.
Does snow stick to your car?
It does.
It does. And then it falls off and it cleans the car, and the car.
Hopefully I'll get
again,
a natural car shower,
well,
car wash.
Yeah, well, again, the tale of the tissue does not lie, okay? Lynette, you can barely see any dirt. Tom's car that sits in a garage, okay, that gets washed once a week, is filthy. So you explain that.
I got that car early September and have not washed it since.
You have not wait a minute. You have not washed your car since you bought it?
No.
Really?
I haven't had the time to do it. It's been raining. I get natural car washes.
I know what I'm going to get you for Christmas. I'm going to get you car wash gift certificates. You need to wash your car.
I know.
I mean, you need to do that. Look, go to this place in East Chicago, right by the South Shore station. Gas this morning is $2.53 a gallon if you get the car wash. So just get the car wash. It's $5. I mean, they do a nice job. Save an extra $1 out, give $1 for a tip, but get the car washed. I mean, by the way, that's something that I always do. When I get a car washed, I always leave it. I always have $1 available for a tip. Although one time in that car wash, the one in East Chicago, usually it's a woman attendant. She's very nice, and I'll give her $1. She says, thank you. One time I pull up, and there's this scruffy guy, and I'm not sure that he was actually the attendant. I think he just was standing there and putting his hand out, but I gave him the $1 anyway. And I didn't have a $1 bill, so I gave him $1 in coins. And I said, look, I'm sorry, but all I have are these coins. And I gave him the $1, and he looked at it and he goes, next time don't bother. And I mean, it's like, what do you mean next time don't bother? I still gave you a tip, okay? You got a tip. And he's like, next time don't bother. It's like, well, okay, give the coins back. We'll take them back. 845-1100 is the number to call. We've got callers. Good morning, you're on the air.
Tom, good morning.
Good morning.
Two things I'm thankful for. I'm thankful for the new podcast on WJOB, Lavetta Sparks Wade. I happened to hear it yesterday on the radio, and I didn't quite understand Obamacare until she explained it, that it is a good thing, and I didn't understand, but she told me that they started calling it what would they start calling it, Tom? Not Obamacare, they referred to it as the Affordable Care.
Right.
And the reason they did that is because they didn't want Obama to get the credit for doing it. So I want to thank Lavetta Sparks Wade for that podcast and explaining that to me, because I thought Obamacare was a bad thing until I tuned into her.
Well, that's very interesting. And, of course, she's got it completely backward because the official act is called the Affordable Care Act, and they started calling it Obamacare to give credit to Obama, but that's okay. All right, so we've got the Lavetta Sparks Wade podcast on WJOB. All right, and you said a second. Yes.
I'm thankful for Jed doing the left seat, right seat training thing with Adriana so she can make it to her goal of being on a major news network. And so she no longer says and starts out currently right now. So I'm thankful for Jed looking at those things and talking to her off the air and saying, hey, maybe you could just go to this and say, instead of saying currently right now. So I'm thankful for Jed and his training these people.
All right, we've got Jed down twice now. Jed gets thanks for all the wrong reasons for doing training for Adriana and others, and also for singing on the radio. Which
wait,
I think
can I add a third one, Tom?
Sure you can. Sure you can go for a third.
Well, you reminded me of it. I'm thankful for Jed as the owner always knowing who has a show each day and what time those shows occur and who's coming into work. It seems like he's very organized. So I want to thank Jed for showing that moxie and leadership.
You know, the last time he was here, if you remember, he came on with me, and he wanted to talk about some things, and he's like, "Yeah, well, we've got plenty of time. We've got till 9:00," and there were people in the hallway that were waiting to do their show at 8:30, and he came on at 8:25. So you're right about that one. That's a good one. That's a good one.
So you've also noticed that, haven't you?
I yes, but I usually keep my mouth shut on that. But since it made the list,
on top of all things WJOB. You got to give him credit.
That's a good one. All right. Have a great
day,
Thanksgiving. Tom. Take care. 845-1100. We have another caller. Good morning. You're on the air.
Yeah, traffic update.
Traffic updates.
The 8094 is about to change. 8094 eastbound, directly underneath the MLK bridge. There's a single car. I don't know how she did it, but she spun around and she's up against the inside wall. There's already a cop there, so I'm sure that's about to get a little bit backed up. But actually, westbound, my bad. Westbound 8094, directly underneath the MLK bridge. This woman forgot how to drive and put her thing up against the concrete.
You know,
like,
you got to wonder how people pull that
Friday
off.
Night in the region. Kind of like Booziak on any Friday night in the region. Hello?
We're adding that to the list. Is that your giving?
No. We'll exclude him since he's no longer on the payroll.
Gotcha. So what do you want to give thanks for the wrong reasons?
I already did. I called a couple calls.
Oh, that's right.
The
That's
trucker
right.
bike and the horrible.
Oh, that's right. That's right. So again, this is. I just want to make sure I have this down. Though it's 8094 westbound at Martin Luther King Drive, and the person basically has hit the inside wall.
Exactly. It's not backed up yet. Cops just showed up. It's probably they're going to have to peel her off the wall, so it's going to get backed up here shortly.
Yeah, don't you hate gaper delays? You know, people just stop and they tie up traffic in the other direction because they have to stop to see what the accident was. It just drives me crazy.
Yeah, it drives me bananas. All right, brother.
All right, thank you so much. Thanks for calling back. 845-1100 is the number to call, and as the last caller mentioned, anytime there's traffic, give us a call too. We do have accidents in the region. He's absolutely right. It doesn't just happen on Friday nights in the region. It happens 24 hours a day here. One more thing before we go to a break. Yesterday, I believe Jed brought up that there was a bomb scare at Purdue Northwest, and Paul Goddard, Region News Source. Paul is always on top of absolutely everything, and he brought up that the reason was it was an unsubstantiated generic threat for Purdue Northwest and Purdue Westville, according to PNW Police Chief Brian Miller. That was the reason. So it was an unsubstantiated threat. And also, this just in from Paul Goddard, I-80 eastbound at mile marker 9, there's a semi stalled in the roadway. That's definitely going to back things up. So eastbound, 8094 at mile marker 9, there's a stalled semi, and as the caller just mentioned, there's an accident right at Martin Luther King Drive in 8094 going westbound. So there you go. Things are going to get hairy in just a minute. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. You're listening to The Morning Call on WJOB, 1230 AM, 104.7 FM. right. Well, we're going to need MX to call in soon because he's preparing for the Christmas show. But lo and behold, I mentioned when the caller mentioned about the so-called tariff surcharge for the Times, and I just got an update from MX Cartoons, and it's Mark Chase holding a sign that says surcharges on Northwest Indiana Times. Happy Thanksgiving turkey. So now I'm going to get blamed by Mark Chase for that meme. And Trucker Mike just texted me and said, hey, add to the list MX's memes and cartoons. So there you go. So 845-1100. We had some additions to our list. We are up to 16 reasons to give thanks for all the wrong reasons in Northwest Indiana. We've got more callers. So good morning. You're on the air. Good morning. You're on the air. Hello. Good morning.
Not.
Yeah. I think they, again, if you call in, but please realize that try and keep your phone nearby, because if you're listening to the radio and then listening to the phone, you're gonna get the delay, and we're not gonna hear you. We've got another caller. Good morning. You're on the air. Good morning. You're on.
Good morning, Tom. I am calling in to tell you what I'm thankful for today.
Well, give us some good reason. And by the way, I just saw your text this morning, or your call this morning. So yes, we're still doing the 10th of December.
Well, just text me the details then.
I will.
The thing I'm thankful for is my neighbor had 5 landscapers out cleaning all their leaves off the lawns, which I thought it's insanity because we live next to hundreds of acres of woods. But this morning I wake up, it gets light enough for me to see my lawn. My lawn looks like theirs yesterday after the landscapers were done, and theirs is full of leaves. So
you're thankful.
I'm sorry to sound so petty.
No, you're thankful for the wind.
I'm thankful for the wind, yes.
That's a good one. Yeah, it is. And this is nothing compared to what they're saying at noontime today, 50-mile-an-hour gusts. I mean, the good news is whatever's on your lawn right now is probably going to be somewhere else about noontime.
Yeah, my lawn is pretty clean, actually. I mean, I could probably spend 15 minutes, raking out the bushes or something like that. But no, I'm very thankful. Thank you very much.
Well, I will tell you this, and I think my son thought I was losing my mind when I did it. But about 7 or 8 years ago, I saw online that somebody was selling one of those Troy-built leaf vacs, the ones that you see on TV all the time. They're advertised. So I bought one. I bought it from a guy that was moving down south from Crown Point, and I think I paid, if I remember correctly, I paid $200 for this thing. Well, they're usually about $1,500. So I bought it. It's in perfect shape. It had only 4 hours of runtime on it, and it works great.
Mm-hmm.
The only bad thing is, yes, it can mulch, like 6, what's normally like 6 bags of leaves into one bag. But when you have to empty the bag off of that leaf vac, it weighs
every 10 minutes.
Yeah, and it weighs about 50 pounds. I mean, this it's almost unmanageable because you're trying to open it. It has this, like, what I call a diaper opening where it folds over, and you these little snaps, and you pull the snaps off, and that stuff just goes everywhere. And trying to get it into one of those brown paper bags is impossible. So,
well, like I said, I live next to a couple hundred acres of woods, and I don't know why, but previous owners stripped all the trees off the property I own. It's just all lawn. So, and I don't put fertilizer on it because I live on a well and I drink the water. So, the only time I get any kind of fertilizer is when I go and mulch the leaves on my lawn, and that feeds the lawn. So, unfortunately, everything's blown off now, but I think I'll be okay.
Well, I'll tell you what. Again, whatever is there right now, just wait until about noon, and it's going to be gone. And by the way, the winds are the west-northwest. So, I was kind of hoping for the great big massive waves up in Whiting, but I don't think we're going to see them because west-northwest is going to push them all toward, like, Gary and Michigan City. I think probably east of Gary will be where the waves are today. So, hey, thank you. I
also think Lynette is very wise to keep that protective coating on the car. It'll keep the paint job longer.
Yeah, I mean, trust me. I held up the tissue this morning. Her car, for someone who says she's never had her car washed, you wipe the tissue on the car and nothing comes off. My car, filthy.
It's only been a few months.
It's only been a few months. There you go, Mont. Only a few months.
All right. You guys have a great Thanksgiving.
All right, and I'll touch base with you soon, and we'll get things set up for the 10th of December. Have a happy Thanksgiving. Take care. 845-1100 is the number to call. We've got more callers. Good morning. You're on the air.
What's up, Tom? Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. I figured this is a theme that really I had you in mind. Okay, giving thanks for all the wrong reasons. I'm sure Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer are on the top of that list for you.
I don't even think of those two people, dude.
Okay, well, and now
they don't even cross my mind.
Well, who or what would you give thanks for all the wrong reasons? And I just got another text giving thanks for all the dead air on WJOB.
I'm giving thanks that Jimmy's so occupied doing so many other things he's barely on the air in the morning. This place has turned into like MSNBC, the Indiana version. Yeesh. But I could be thankful for how about being thankful for the guy who invented the little miniature shaver for us guys to clean our undercarriage. How about that, huh? That's something to be thankful for.
Okay, well, that was out of left field, man. You got me on that one.
Hey, you know what else I'm thankful for? I'm thankful for that producer. What's his name? Joe Cimino, the quarterback of Andrean.
Yes.
For the video compilation that he and Kuziak put together one morning, where what did he use the term? Can we say jag off on here? Where he used that adjective like 800 times in 2.5 minutes and propelled his radio career over to the to the new sports thing. I heard he's getting hired over at the new sports thing. I'm grateful for that.
Well,
he's going to be broadcasting games for what is that called? The Harvest
Heartland
Harvest Green Network.
You know what? All I can say is
Tractor Pull Network. What is it called?
the Tractor Pull Network. All I can say is, Kuziak over the years.
Tractor Fight Network. What is it? What is it called? Harvest Green.
The Heartland
Harvest
Sports.
Day.
Yeah. You know what? Kuziak has pointed out over the years. He says that he was on the air longer than I was, and my point is, I was on WJOB from the time Jed bought it. Kuziak says, well, he was on longer. He did do sports for Region Sports Network, and they used to carry it on WJOB. So I don't know how you decide that one. But you know what? To me, it's not a competition, so I'm not going to worry.
Well, you know what the rumor is.
What's the rumor?
Because Jed was in the second spot on that longest on WJOB little keeper tracker competition, and I don't know, man. The rumor is Jed deep sixed him so he could be number one.
Ooh, hey, that you never know. I mean, I didn't know that we had a competition, but that means that I'm going away then. That would mean I'm going away.
No, you'll always be stuck in second or third, whatever your spot is.
I like that.
Jed's not going anywhere.
I like that. I'll be stuck in second or third. I like that. But yeah, I actually the first show I did on WJLB was I used to do way back Wednesdays. And I used to play old radio shows from the 1930s when they were first getting started. And they needed
on WJOB?
On WJOB. I did it on Wednesday mornings. I used to play old radio shows and used to do old television trivia. That's why a few listeners will call in periodically and throw some trivia out at me because I used to do old television trivia on the radio.
Oh, that's interesting.
Well, I mean, there were 8 listeners at the time, so there you go. I mean, that was...
I'll tell you what, that old-time radio stuff, they've got like... They used to play it. Well, they play it on. I can't remember. I think it's on WIND, like on 8 o'clock on Saturdays.
Yes.
But I mean, now with the advent of the podcast and everything that was ever recorded anywhere is available somewhere. You can pull up all those replays of those shows, and they're just fantastic. Though
I'll tell you
the creativity that they put into those to make you feel like you were right there, whether they were a crime scene, flying a plane, a family cooking in the kitchen. You know, the descriptive and particularly if you ever get a chance to see the video of them doing a live radio show.
Yes.
That's it's like on a stage, like up at your place in Whiting at that, what is it called, the Hoosier Theater?
Yes. There are
stage
two
like that with the old stuff and everything. It's just fantastic.
There are two old radio shows that I always recommend for people to listen to. One is Suspense, which was actually created by Alfred Hitchcock. People don't realize that Hitchcock actually wrote all the scripts for the first season, and Suspense actually heavily influenced a television show that people still talk about to this day called The Twilight Zone. Rod Serling said that he was heavily influenced by listening to old episodes of Suspense. And the other show was Yours Truly, Johnny Dollar. Yours Truly,
That's
Johnny Dollar was a great show. I mean, those. Go ahead.
Yeah, the guy named Bob Bailey was. There's about 10 different guys, but I think he's the best. I listen to that kind of quite often, like just falling asleep or something like that. You know.
I actually have a collection on CDs of the entire Johnny Dollar run, and I think I'm trying to remember how many episodes, and it's an amazing number. It's like 1,200 episodes.
Oh, I was just gonna say there's got to be 1,000 because when you type that into any of the the podcast facilities, they pull up at least 15 different groups who run their own Johnny Dollars and that. And it's amazing the difference between the host of, the guys who are actually the character Johnny Dollar on. Some are with very much enthusiasm, like that Bob Bailey guy who was the best.
He was absolutely the best.
Yeah, some guys who just clearly were they're just mailing it in. They're like, did I get paid for this yet? So okay, I'm gonna get paid, right? All right, I'll do it.
Exactly.
I'm Johnny Dollar, blah, blah, blah.
People don't realize, I mean, for example, Floyd the Barber, who, on Andy Griffith, I mean, very beloved character. He was actually a very famous radio actor, Howard McNair. He did voices for almost every single show on CBS back in the heyday of CBS radio.
Oh, wow.
And you wouldn't recognize, I mean, he would play, the thief. He'd play the murderer. He'd play the detective. He played everybody. In fact, in some shows, he'd play 3 different characters on the same show. The other one that did a lot of character acting on the radio was Joseph Kearns, who played Mr. Wilson on that horrible black and white Dennis the Menace TV show.
Oh yeah,
Mr. Wilson. Mr. Wilson was a famous.
Yeah.
He was maybe the most famous radio character actor of all time. He played characters on almost every show, and a lot of times he would do it without even any credits at the end. They wouldn't even credit him, but he was so good. He played thousands upon thousands of characters, and people really have to listen because sometimes he did a great job disguising his voice. I mean, he did everything from little kids to cranky old men, and it was because he did a cranky old man in a few shows that he ended up on the Dennis the Menace TV show as Mr. Wilson. So, yeah, lots of real interesting history when it comes to old radio. I really enjoy. I've read a couple of books about it, Mad Mac, and you're right. I mean, they would actually do the radio just standing there with microphones and different props to make noise, but they would do it in front of a live audience. Like you said, the Hoosier Theater would be the perfect location to do it, and they would do these radio shows, and people were, would sit there and watch people just read off of scripts, and they'd use props to make sounds, but it was pretty amazing. Yeah,
I thought watching them was because you would think these people are all dressed up, and it's very you think it would be very, not to say scripted, but it would look like kind of like a Broadway play production. And actually, what it looks like when you watch it, it looks like everything that's behind the curtain of a Broadway production.
Right.
Because of all the people having to do all the technical work to make these sounds come over the air, and it's all the stage people and the producers and the technicians and that. Back in the day, you think, what kind of technicians did you have then? I know it was so low tech, but it's just the coordination to pull it off and make it sound so good. It's just real kind of amazing.
Yeah, I saw a video once. Roma Wine was the original sponsor of Suspense, and I forgot who it was, but it was a famous actress of the time. And at the end, they would always present the actor or actress of the day. They'd present them with a this beautiful basket of Roma wines. And I saw a video of what they actually did, and instead of this beautiful basket, they're actually handing her like a bottle, and she's pretending that she's oh, this is so beautiful. Oh, look at all the different wines. Oh, there's a rosé, there's a white Zinfandel, and she's actually standing there and she's holding this little crate with like 2 bottles in it, but she's making it sound like they presented her with like this big beautiful basket of wine. So it was very neat the way it was done. Hey, thanks so much for calling. Have a great Thanksgiving.
I'll give you one last thing real quick.
Sure.
Netflix, The Beast in Me, 8-part limited series, fantastic.
Really?
Just look up the Beast in Me. A tad bit of gore to it on occasion, but it's a really well-written story, and you'll be engaged in it the entire time because they lay the characters out. It's just really, really well done. It's only 8 series, so you can knock it out like in 6 hours maybe.
I'm going to
I
try
literally
that.
did it one night. I stayed up from 12 till 6 in the morning. I watched the whole thing straight through. That's how good it was.
Well, I'll tell you what. I think that's a good one to start this evening. Hey, thanks so much. Have a happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, boys.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. We're listening to the morning call on WJLB 1230 AM 104.7 FM. And when we come back, we're going to continue the show. But joining me as a co-host this morning is none other than John Wilkening from Tech Credit Union, one of our sponsors. So we'll be right back after these commercial announcements. All right, we're back, and you're listening to the morning call on WJLB 1230 AM 104.7 FM. We're going to be here till 8:30, and then the Town of Dyer show comes on. But let's do an update on traffic and weather. So, again, we have a disabled semi eastbound on 8094 at mile marker 9, and then at Martin Luther King Drive going westbound, we have a car that spun out and hit the inside wall. In addition, the toll road is now reporting a backup near their toll booths in Portage, which why Indiana can't just go to open tolling like every other state in the nation is beyond me, but that's a problem this morning. There's going across the line into Illinois, there's a little bit of a backup at the Skyway toll bridge toll area. And the only issue of concern right now in Chicago is going to be on the Dan Ryan Expressway. And to be honest with you, it's gotten better. It's now just backed up to 35th. So it's improved right now. So, again, traffic isn't looking too bad. Let's talk about weather. And did you actually say in the last report that it was going to snow in about a half hour?
Yeah, it says there should be periods of snow for at least 60 minutes. That's what it says here. Not too sure about that. But good morning, everyone. Today we're at 36 degrees with highs of 37 and lows of 27. We'll be having winds gusting past 40 miles per hour. Should be cloudy and colder with a few stray snowflakes. And then tomorrow on Thursday, we'll be having highs of 34 and lows of 23. Should be brisk and cold with more clouds than sun. And then Friday, we'll be having highs of 34 and lows of 26. And should be partly sunny and cold.
So we heard your complaint earlier, and that's why John's here, because John's chief banking officer at Tech Credit Union. So he's here to make you a loan so you can buy those Christmas gifts. That's how we're helping you out, Lynette.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, John, good morning. Great to have you here.
Good morning, Tom. Always an honor to be on the show. Love it. Thank you.
So keeping with the theme, and again, 845-1100, folks, give us a call. The theme is giving thanks for all the wrong reasons. What would that be?
Oh, one of my pet peeves is I'm not going to name them because I do like the pie. But, my favorite pizza place, they started passing on the debit card transaction fee to you on top of the bill. And I'm like, you pay delivery, you do a tip. I'm going to do all that, of course. And now you're whacking me for an extra $3-4. So I was very, I'm not going to stop eating the pizza. But the fact is, as a regular pie guy, I wasn't too happy about that.
Can I ask you, that's something that we've had callers call about before. Okay, so the whole idea a few years ago, especially with like debit cards, was that we were going to a cashless system, and debit cards were going to be great because it was just like carrying cash. But if I carry cash, I don't get charged a surcharge. But if I carry a debit card, I get charged. What? That makes no sense.
There are transaction fees, and as I kindly explained, it's really just the cost of doing business. Going back to what you say of a cashless society, we pushed everybody to plastic and cards and online other payment sources. So it's just really, as I explained to the lady, it's really the cost of doing business. I would rather have them raise the pizza price by a buck or two than to be whacking me for a transaction fee.
I'm with you on that. And then the other thing that drives me nuts is I've seen some signs lately, and maybe you can shed some light on this. The sign says, "We reserve the right to refuse to accept any currency a customer provides." What is that about? I mean, is it that they're that worried about counterfeit dollars or counterfeit bills?
Possibly. With the good pens, which we've had forever. You put that yellow streak on there, it's going to tell. But, frankly, you're really not supposed to be turning away American currency. If I wanted to pay in unrolled pennies, that's my right. We see that on videos sometimes. Somebody has a ticket, they pull into the police department to pay. And
with 50,000 pennies, yeah.
And they put them in sequential order. I'm teasing, but, it's crazy. But you really need to take all currency, and the cost of debit cards and credit cards, that's the cost of doing business. So, it's not a good look.
Speaking of the penny, so the penny is going to go away. But my understanding is they're not making any more pennies, but they're not saying that it's completely going out of circulation. It's going to still be in circulation. There's enough pennies out there to last for a long time.
Well, thank God Millie the Candy Lady's out, is not open anymore. I mean, you could walk into Millie's.
In downtown Whiting.
Yeah, so, Millie the Candy Lady, one of the Whiting's got so many legends. boy, down towards Center Street on 119th Street, you'd walk into Millie's candy store. She'd be behind the curtain there because the house was in the back. The German White Shepherd would run out. That bell would ring, and it was like you won the lottery. If you had 11 pennies, Tom, my God, you could eat Millie's candy for a day.
Oh, the other one was Whiting News, and you'd go see John Krastowski. Remember John?
Oh, yeah.
And John would, if you bought enough candy, he would play the harmonica, and he could play a harmonica like nobody I've ever met in my life. It sounded like a full symphony. I mean, he played. He was amazing.
And not only the real harmonica, and only a real Oiler knows this. In the month of October only, the Whiting News Company would sell the wax mustache, the wax harmonicas, right? And the popcorn balls. That was the big
Yes.
get ready for Halloween theme. So I tell
And
you,
don't forget the candy cigarettes.
Oh,
candy cigarettes.
I just had this conversation with Gene Novello yesterday. I started with the bubblegum cigarettes at Millie's, and then I graduated to the hard candy cigarettes at Whiting News, and there you go. The land of churches and bars back in the day, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there was a church on every corner and a bar on the alternate corner. Absolutely. 845-1100 is the number to call. Two text messages. One, Dave Gehrman, absolutely right. E.G. Marshall and William Conrad were great character actors and did a lot of voice work on old radio shows. In fact, William Conrad, not Robert Conrad, but William Conrad was the short, portly guy that played Cannon later on. Remember him?
Absolutely.
So he played Matt Dillon on Gunsmoke on the radio. And, they always talked about Matt Dillon being this tall, the tall sheriff, and they describe him. And then when they decided to move to television, everybody thought, well, William Conrad was going to get the call, and they looked at him and said, well, you're only like 5'5", and you're kind of portly and short and losing your hair. And so that's when they chose Peter Graves' brother. I forget the name now. That played Matt Dillon on Gunsmoke for years because he was like 6'4". And E.G. Marshall did a lot of voice work on the radio, and actually one of the last great voice actors of our time, because he did the old CBS radio mystery theater that was on into the 1970s. So thanks for that. And then Paul Goddard gave us one for the list. I'm thankful for living next to the great city of Chicago, which has in turn blasted my career of covering police activity here in Northwest Indiana. If not for the state of Illinois, I don't think I'd be where I am today. So there you go. So thanks to Illinois and their problems, creating opportunities for our residents. 845-1100 is the number. Yeah, you talk about Whiting and some of the places that you could buy stuff for a penny. I mean, that was how much were the hot dogs, the old chili dogs over at Indiana Red Hots? Those weren't very expensive.
49 cents.
49 cents. Yeah, remember, and you had to they'd put them in the bag, but you had to put your hand underneath the bag because the chili was so greasy it would melt the bag basically. By the time if you walked out of there, it'd fall right through. We got a couple of callers, John. Let's go to the calls. Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm thankful that Mervyn is a stand-up guy.
All right. Thankful for Mervan being a stand-up guy. All right. I'll add that.
You know what I mean by that, don't you?
I know exactly what you're talking about. You're talking about the kid with cancer. I got it.
And when we have our show, everybody's got to call in who gets coal for Christmas.
Well, I'll tell you, one of the guys who's probably going to get coal is Jed. He just walked in this morning. He doesn't know what the theme is this morning, that it's giving thanks for all the wrong reasons. And MX, you made the list once, okay, and Jed's made the list more than anybody else. Jed, you're on the list like 3 times this morning, and Jed's like, I could care less. But anyway, so yeah, that. I like that one. That was a good play on words. I got the joke right away. I got the joke. So
did you? Okay, then I'll let you go.
All right. Take care. Have a good Thanksgiving. 845-1100. We have another caller. Good morning. You're on the air.
Hey, did you hear how the transportation secretary asked people not to go to the airport in their pajamas no more?
I did. And you know what? Actually, he said it somewhat tongue-in-cheek, but his point was if maybe you got to turn down the radio in the background because we're getting an echo.
I don't have a radio on in the background.
No problem. No problem. Yeah, his point was is that maybe if people dressed a little bit better, you wouldn't have some of the problems that you have that are going on airplanes and in the airports these days. So his point was we didn't have all the violence that we're having now, people punching each other and shoving each other on planes when people dressed a little bit nicer. That was his point. It was kind of tongue-in-cheek, but you know what? I don't think it's a bad idea if there was some basic dress code on airplanes. I mean, I've seen people get on. John, you've seen it.
Well, no,
get on in almost anything now.
I just had this conversation with my daughter Danielle the other night. You know, we were watching TV and we were talking about it. And I don't know what show it was on, but it was showing old time flying, and people were smoking on the plane. But everybody was in a suit traveling. You know, when we were growing up, I mean, it was a big thing to go to the airport. Nobody showed up in their flipping. Now, I'm guilty as anybody. I mean, whenever I roll out of bed, I get in the car ride to the airport. But no, people dressed up, and it was a big event. And no, we found, you know, we saw that with Coach Ditka with the Bears when he was losing his temper and throwing gum at fans. Remember, he started dressing up, and he's like, "Hey, when I dress better, I act better." There's something to it.
There is. I mean, you know, yesterday I went and got fitted for the tux for my daughter's wedding. And I was talking to the guy at Men's Warehouse, and he said, "Whoa, you've been a customer here for a long time?" And I said, "Yes." And we were talking about of wearing suits. And I said, "You know, I still have, like 18 suits in my closet, but I don't wear them anymore." And the idea of getting dressed up for work or getting dressed up for events wasn't a bad idea. You felt better. It's kind of a lost cause now.
So my point being is, I would be thankful that if all the ladies in the region would not go to Strachan Van Til's in their pajamas, because I just saw so many women in Strachan Van Til in their pajamas. Would you put some fracking clothes on? I mean, put a pair of jeans on. Come on.
I agree with you. I agree. It's totally out of control. People show up. I mean, look, when I used to work downtown, and you'd go and people wore suits and ties, and you saw women wearing high heels, and they were all dressed up. You don't see that anywhere anymore.
Well, no, I'm just saying, I know it's early, but throw a pair of jeans on. The women, they're all in Strax right now with their pajamas on. Yeah. And I'm like, put some clothes on, lady. You look terrible. You look terrible.
And they're not the ones that you want to see dressed that way either.
Exactly. They're I don't even you know where I'm going, and I don't want to go there because I might offend somebody. Oh.
Yeah, we're good.
All right. Hey, thanks so much. Thanks for the call. Have a great Thanksgiving.
You too.
Thank you.
I mean, he's right though. Look, there are people. I mean, Lynette. Okay, can you explain what is this? What is this trend with people wearing pajamas to go shopping in? And I think the caller's point is not only are they there, but they're there at 7:23 in the morning. So they haven't taken a shower, they haven't taken a bath, and I mean they just literally rolled out of bed and just show up and go shopping. I mean, why is that?
I mean, it's early in the morning. Who has the energy for that? I mean, sometimes I go out in just sweats and a hoodie.
Okay, but you're 20-some years old. All right. You I mean, he's talking about the people my age that are, going out there and I mean, like, yeah, it's not a style that's going to.
Well, I mean, I don't look at other people.
Well, I just think that I think this. If your pajamas have like little dogs or cats on them, you shouldn't wear them in public.
Oh, who cares? No.
Really? I see.
It doesn't bother me. I don't look at other people. So.
I think if you wear, if you wear pajamas with little dogs or cats or cartoon characters, yeah, maybe you shouldn't go out in public. But we have another caller, I think, 845-1100. Good morning. You're on the air with Tom and John.
Yeah, good morning. Because you're talking about credit cards, debit cards, and all that stuff, and the tech guys there. My boss many years ago with his repair shop, he used to never charge the customers for the charge he gets for when he accepts a credit card for a repair bill. But then when the rates of that went up, and he redid his computer system to where if you pay cash, you don't have to worry about paying a charge for the service fee for the credit card. But what he had to do is he had to put that credit card fee on the customer when they repair the bill, because he was having everybody use a credit card. And it was, in 1 month, I forgot how much he told me in all the credit cards, how much it would have added up to. He paid out of his pocket. Is that right?
I mean, John?
Yeah, they pass that. There's a charge in there when they settle out. They hold a certain percentage, depending on your volume and your relationship. So you're right. I tease about it, but the first time is, and I talked to a great manager, and the reason they didn't just raise the pizza prices is she said, I wanted to give everybody the option of paying cash. Well, you know what? I took it back to the old days, and now I'm tipping in cash and paying in cash. So, it's just the first time when you bump your head into that. And let's face it, we don't walk around with the cash we used to. Everybody had a money clip back in the day. You had a few bucks. Maybe people walk down the street, you hear change. When's the last time you heard somebody, jangling change in their pocket, Tom?
Well, you're right. I mean, you don't carry change. Okay, although I have a wallet that actually has a change purse built into it, John, and it's from my daughter. Bought it when she was in Italy for me. And I think it's the coolest thing because you don't see men's wallets with a compartment for change anymore.
No, I had a Lone Ranger one in 1976. I'll tell you that. Nice vinyl and
no, my wallet does not have the Lone Ranger on it. But I mean, the caller, he has a good point. Business is being squeezed because they're being charged 3.5% of the transaction fee is going to the credit card company. But I thought that when they put debit cards in place, they weren't supposed to charge those fees, but they get around that too.
Yeah, there are transaction costs. It's real.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate.
And another thing is there's a restaurant in this area that never again in my life will I ever go to it, because now when you pay your bill, they automatically include a tip.
Oh. Yes, I know of several. There's one in Munster, there's one in Highland, and they automatically add an 18% gratuity. And it's a gratuity. It's supposed to be a voluntary payment. Look, I always tip, but I shouldn't pay 18% if the service is bad. I went to the one Mexican place on Indianapolis Boulevard that does this summer, and I was there with my wife and her son, and they charged us this 18% fee, and then they go and they say, do you want to add an additional fee? And a lot of people are giving double tips because they didn't realize that they're already getting assessed with the tip. And I think that's wrong too. Don't you agree, John? I mean,
absolutely. It's something that's earned. The tips, and I'm a big tipper, believe me. And my wife, hell, she taught me that young. Tip well. They're working for tips. But they do have to be earned. I mean, if you're throwing the bread basket at me, right?
Well, if you don't show up for 15 minutes to refill a Coke, for example, I don't think you deserve a great big tip. All right, and that's what happened in this case. Or your food is 20 minutes late because they forgot about it. Oh, I've been very busy. I forgot your order. And they tell you that, and then it's like, we don't care because they're going to get your tip. Caller, what do you think?
Yeah. Like yesterday, me and my boss was sitting at a restaurant eating, and okay, the waitress got busy, but she's always nice, polite, and kind, and she forgot my soda, but she got busy. I mean, she had customers, and my boss paid the bill. I left the tip. I always leave tips, but like you said, if I'm eating, I want a soda there or a liquid to drink to douse my food, And
right.
I always leave a tip. But one time, I didn't leave a tip at this one restaurant because that waitress was yakking with everybody else, and I'm sitting there, and I let my food sit there, and she says, everything okay? No, you got to go heat my food back up. Because I said I didn't have nothing to drink with it. And then when I went to pay my bill, I told that cashier, I said, I didn't leave a tip this time because your waitress was very not good at serving my table. I mean, But the thing I was mostly is about them credit cards because my boss showed me in a year's time when he had to pay the service fee for a credit card and stuff, how much he had to pay out. And that's when he decided he has to add that fee to a repair bill. If you pay cash, you won't get charged that fee. But if you use a credit card, he says, I have to add that fee to it.
But how about this? You go to any professional sporting event now in the nation, and you cannot use cash. They only take credit card.
The only thing I say good is about the credit cards is because, if there ever comes, like that time they had shortage with coins back in the culvert or something, and I was still working driving a truck, and I'd go to this down in Kentucky to go to this one place. They couldn't give me my change back because of the shortage. I says, hold on, let me use my credit card because in that way I pay just for what I bought. I don't get my change back. But when she said, we can't give you your change back, so I pulled my wallet and says, here, I'll pay it this way. Because, I work for my dollar.
Hold on one second. You're listening to WJOB 1230 AM, 104.7 FM in Hammond, Indiana at 7:30. Go ahead.
Yeah, I work 8 hours a day and get paid that amount. And then when I spend that money, I want my change back. That's why, when they say, now I've been rounding out.
Yeah, you don't want your change back. I mean, I want my change back. I worked for it. It's just crazy.
And then, I was kind of rude for a while on this rounding this stuff off for people, but ever since what happened with me, every time they say that, yes.
The roundup. But if that's going to charity, it's a different story. When they say to you,
oh, yeah.
Well, I don't really have change, but, do you mind rounding up? But I do mind. So, hey, Mike, thanks again. Thanks for calling.
But one thing. But if the store says, but if the store says we can't give your change back, so we're going to have to round it up, no.
Absolutely.
Hey, lose my card. Okay, everybody.
Thanks for the call. 845-1100 is the number to call. Should we take a quick break? I do have an update. Mark from Hobart, James Arness is who I was thinking of with Gunsmoke, John.
Oh,
James Arness, yeah, and the other thing is he said that he went to Buffalo Wild Wings at 2:00 in the afternoon. Some lady came in wearing her pajamas. I asked the waitress. And said, hey, I may be older, out of touch, but what's going on? The person's wearing pajamas in public, and her response was, they want people to know that they didn't shower today. That was pretty good. That was a good response. So they wanted people to know that they didn't shower. That's why they wore pajamas. We're going to take a quick break. You're listening to the Morning Call, WJLB 1230 AM, 104.7 FM. We'll be right back, and John Wilkening's sitting in with us, so keep tuned here till 8:30. Right back. All right, we're back, and we've got John Wilkening sitting in this morning, and John is celebrating 30 years in banking.
30 years in banking and 30 years married.
30 years and 30 years. Wow. Congratulations.
So, yeah.
Congratulations. 30 years married. That's quite an accomplishment.
Yeah, I'm blessed. And, Crystal's come along with the journey, been very supportive, and I'm blessed. What can I say? I mean, this Tech Credit Union, boy, I honestly, Tom, I had the great run at Notre Dame Federal, and we did some national things. But the love of my life was Mercantile National Bank and Community Bank, and I, would have retired from there if it wasn't for mergers. But boy, this tech thing.
When you started out at American Trust.
Started off at Merck and then American Trust because there was the contract, and I couldn't go with Christopher at First National Bank. Phil Sr. had called me up and said, "Hey, I know you're tied up for a year or two contractually. Would you come help us out?" And of course, and he closed me. Phil Grenchick Sr. closed me as your grandma would be proud of you. So I was blessed to work at that grand old gal of American Trust. As I told the president of BMO, because I had won the Harris BMO Award for top 1% employees in North America, and we got off the plane, and I was resigning to go to American Trust, and John Rudy, the president, said, you just won the award. Why would you be leaving us? And I said, well, I went to bed a Red Sox, and I woke up a Yankee hat. I was a community guy, and Merck meant something, and BMO, great institution. But if I wanted to work there, as I told him, I'd apply. And the interim, Phil Sr. called me. That worked out great for a year, kind of solidified them. But always had that mercantile vacancy in my heart, even no matter what accomplished at Notre Dame nationally, all the awards and the record growth. But tech is the love of my life. This union movement, you've worked closely with me on it. But working at the kitchen tables of the working class this is my mission in life, and I've got to tell Team Tech, and I've got to tell my brothers and sisters of labor, I love you both so much, and this is my life's work.
Well, I'll tell you what, a quick shout out to a couple of people. Gene Novello, of course, the CEO, great guy, and Carrie Bukowski, head of HR, and Carlotta, who works with her. So kind of a shout out to all those people because I've gotten to know them as well, and just a great organization. And how many locations do you have now?
We have 11 locations in our call center. And, of course, there'll be more expansion. I mean, we're kind of the talk of the banking world right now. I don't know why everybody forgot their roots in this county, but we've got roughly 555,000 residents in this area. 100,000 of them are affiliated to labor. And we just went back to our roots. We started at U.S. Steel in 1936. And you know what? I'm not in the chasing $1 million clients. I'm into helping the men and women of labor have better lives from financial literacy in the apprentice program. So to everybody, Randy Palmatier, Corey Campbell,
Harvey Jackson,
Steve Minchuk, Ron Ware. God bless you all. I love the work you do every day, and I love to be part of it, and so does Team Tech.
Yeah, you mentioned Randy. Randy's a friend of mine, but Randy's one guy that to be honest with you, I've never invited to have on the radio with me. Could you imagine Randy Palmatier being on WJOB with me? If he was on for more than 5 minutes, we'd probably rack up $10,000 in fines.
Yeah, but boy, would your ratings be off the charts.
Randy would be great. And if Randy's listening, Randy, you ever want to come on, you're welcome to come on, but I'm going to borrow the shock collar from my dog, have it on him because Randy's Randy. Randy would go off the deep end pretty fast on something that we'd be in trouble. 845-1100 is the number to call. And we, among other things, we've been talking about like giving thanks for all the wrong reasons, because Thanksgiving, of course, is tomorrow, and you're going to celebrate Thanksgiving, of course, like everybody else, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
With your family, or do you do it with your mom, or you do it with your wife, or how do you?
We do it both. We do Thursday at my mom's, and then Saturday because the kids, some of my daughters are married now, and Crystal doesn't want to do that tug of war thing for them. She wants everybody to relax, so she has everybody go see their new in-laws on Thursday, and then Saturday everybody hits our house.
Gotcha.
So I get two Thanksgivings, and I've already bought some blue jeans that are a little bit bigger, so I can grow into these things over the pecan pie.
Yeah, and yeah, absolutely, because this is a time to eat, no doubt about it. 845-1100, we got a couple of calls. Let's go to those calls. Good morning, you're on the air.
Hey, Tom.
Yes.
I can't speak up. I was in Strax, okay, this morning. I'm in the bathroom hiding. People are following me and saying bad things to me. And I have to get some bread. But I'm hiding in the bathroom because I have pajama pants on and they're making fun of me. What do I do?
Do they have little dogs and cats on?
Yeah, how do you know that? But I don't wear the full pajamas, just the pajama pants. I feel for my life though. I don't want to, I'm in the stall here, but I have to get this bread. I didn't get buns. But people are just so mean.
Well, we'll send Lynette over to that Strax. She'll bail you out. But I mean, that was pretty good.
I've got things to do, though. I have so much to do, but I don't want to get mobbed. Or why are people so mean? They're cute little pajama pants.
Well,
the little doggies and stuff. Why would anybody be mad at my pants?
Well,
and how do they know how do you know that they're not regular pants? How do they know they're pajamas?
But there is something to be said about some people going out in public these days, and they dress. They don't dress. They don't give it 5 seconds of thought. I mean, they just go out and they wear anything and everything. And back in the day, it was a little bit nicer when people dressed up a little bit. I don't know that I want to bring back suits on airplanes, but I've seen people literally in swimsuits on airplanes.
God.
It's gotten out of hand.
Yeah, I always fly naked, but I'm there's too many people in the store this early. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know anybody was going to be in here, but I got so much to do.
All right,
what should I do?
Well, just keep on shopping.
Now send Jed after me because he knows the owner.
All right, I'll send Jed after you. Jed's going to leave right now. He's going to go out and he's going to rescue you.
Should I take my pants off and just walk around with no pants on?
That's your call. That's your call. That is your call.
You think it's safer? Okay.
All right, take care. All right, take care.
Bye.
Bye. 845-1100. We have another caller. Good morning. You're on the air.
Do you know that the Peteyville Christmas display is not going to take place this year because the family involved is having health problems?
Yes, actually, I think MX brought that up, Walt. MX has helped before with Peteyville, and I think he brought that up. But it's sad. I will say this. People, like the people who do Peteyville, they put their hearts into that, their hearts, their minds, and their backs into celebrating Christmas every year. And it's wonderful. But some of the nasty comments on social media about this. I mean, John, have you ever seen Peteyville in Hessel over here? The Christmas celebration. They set up all these Christmas decorations. And this year there were a couple of people, Walt, who said, well, you owe it to the community. You need to get off your back end and do it. It's like they don't have to do anything. They put they put all this time and money into this presentation. If they don't want to do it, they don't have to. Just crazy.
Yep, and there's an alternative available to people, and that is at the Hammond, Indiana Welcome Center on Kennedy Avenue, just south of 8094, next to the Cracker Barrel, and it's up and working. It started on November 15th. It's going to go to December 30th. It's well worth to take your kids, your grandkids, and they have about 50 decorated trees, and most of them are decorated by civic groups in the area, and you can vote on which is your favorite. And they have big tables there for the kids to do art and crayon work. And
then they have the windows. They have the windows for the old Macy windows for the Christmas Story. And it's a very nice display, and it's at the Visitor Center. Really, really nice presentation, and they have the Christmas trees, and of course I remember back in the day when the only place that had Christmas trees, the Christmas around the world, and I was of course at the museum and ran the day-to-day operations of the Museum of Science and Industry, and at one point we actually tried to trademark Christmas around the world. And we were given a limited trademark, and I don't know if they've maintained it, but we were given a limited trademark that basically said that we could that it applied to the Museum of Science and Industry, but we really couldn't trademark Christmas around the world. We couldn't trademark the concept because anybody should have the right to it. So there you go. I got to ask you while you're on the phone.
Right.
I got to ask you, what do you think of the video by the 6 congressmen and senators? Now, I've talked to a couple of people, and one yesterday really surprised me. He's a retired Marine. He's a Democrat. Makes very clear he's a Democrat, and just came unglued when I brought it up and said, it's outrageous what they did. It's sedition, and they need to be prosecuted, that Mark Kelly deserves a court-martial. And I was really shocked because this guy, he hates Trump. He actually liked Biden, but he said what they did was wrong. Well, what say you as a retired Navy pilot and veteran? What do you say?
Well, I would say Mr. Kelly is a disgrace. He was a naval officer and a retired naval officer, and he knows better. And why he would do what he did is unbelievable. Maybe he spends too much time around Democrats. I don't know. I mean, the Democrats are the party of flag burners, so it's.
But my understanding from talking to this one individual, and he was a non-com officer, so non-commissioned officer, and he said, look, you understand when you're in the military, you take orders. You take orders through the chain of command. You do not question the chain of command. And he said that video is just very harming and damning to a lot of young people going in the military and giving them confusing directions. And he said, look, there haven't been, he pointed out, there have not been any illegal orders. And as an officer, you always knew that an illegal order you wouldn't obey, but otherwise you follow the chain of command. And what's being said is giving people the wrong idea.
Well, I spent 20 years in the military, both active and reserve and so forth, and I never was ever given a order that was anywhere near illegal. Never. I mean, it may have been stupid, it may have been incompetent, but in terms of illegal, no. No.
Yeah, it's sad. It's sad. Hey, Walt, I got to ask you one more thing. I want to wish you a happy Thanksgiving. I ask you one more thing. Do you have a contribution for our list of giving thanks for all the wrong reasons? What would you like to give thanks for the wrong things that go on? What would that be?
I can't think of anything. My brain just went blank. And but happy Thanksgiving to everybody out there. We kind of lucked out. Our children, our 2 children, are going to buy us Thanksgiving meal. It's going to be delivered to our door, and so we're looking forward to it.
Wow, sounds good. Well, happy Thanksgiving to you, Walt. Take care.
Yep.
We've got another caller, but before we go to the callers, I want to mention the passing of somebody, a really amazing person. Knew her all my life, pretty much. And Fran Dupe, the former county commissioner, passed away at age 86. And Fran was a great individual. Fran told you like it is. She was, to be very honest with you, a politician that no longer, you really don't see exist anymore. She held to her principles. She was able to stand her ground. She was a trailblazer for women and an amazing individual. She was, of course, her husband, Frank Dupe, is the former Hammond police chief. And I'm really going to miss Fran. I used to love the fact that Fran would call, and she'd call me, and I knew exactly who it was, even before caller ID existed. Back when you had landlines, she'd call, and she'd be, Tommy! And as soon as I heard the way she said Tommy, she always called me Tommy. She never called me Tom. And I said to her once, this was probably 20 years ago, I saw her at the county complex, and she hollers across the county complex and says, Tommy! And I said, hey, Fran, I don't go by Tommy anymore. And she goes, well, you do with me. She says, so that's the end of the debate. You're Tommy. And she always called me Tommy. I never asked her not to call me Tommy again. But she was a great, great person. And did a lot for people, and she really cared about people. And I think that's what was maybe lost sometime by critics of hers, was the amount of care and empathy that she had for individuals. I mean, she would tell me stories about people, and I would hear her say, so and so, and it'd be somebody that I knew she, didn't like her at all. She didn't really care for them. And she'd say, but they needed help, and we need to do this, or we need to do that, or I'm working on this, I'm working on that. And it always amazed me that she never let politics get in the way of taking care of somebody. I mean, I've got countless stories about her, some very funny ones that things that she would do, but she was a very considerate, very kind person, and very caring person. And I just wanted to say, if you missed the fact that she passed away, she died over the weekend, and just a real legend in Lake County politics, and I would say leadership, because she was a leader. And you knew her as well.
Oh, I know her very well. 2 blocks over, we laughed because I was 1409 Lake. She was a couple blocks over. I'd see her and Frank regularly. Crystal and I went to the yacht club with Franny and Frank often. Franny was a matriarch of the Robertsdale neighborhood.
Yep.
And Lake County, the first lady to
county
be
commissioner.
County commissioner and Lake County councilwoman, right?
Yes,
so,
yes.
Trendsetter. God bless. I know the gates of heaven were waiting on Franny. She changed a lot of lives. And you know what? She was for all the people. Even if you had her political opponent's yard sign in your yard, but you had a need, Franny did not care about that. She cared about doing the job right. So God bless you, Franny Dupay, Frank and Veronica, your loss, and Alan, the grandson. God bless you all.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I had the privilege of going to her wake the other day and saw a lot of really great people. Saw McKinley Nuttall and Kathy Bennett and a number of people at the wake, and just too many to name. John Matanovich, so many folks, but. I just think about my own childhood and growing up, and Fran was part of it, and a very, very good person. But she had her moments. She was entertaining at times. I mean, she gave you her opinion. She would tell you, if she disagreed with you, she'd tell you, and then she made sure that before you walked away that you were friends.
That's the truth.
She'd say, I don't agree with you, and here's why, and boom, 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 and she'd articulate her reasons, and then she'd say, hey, but we're friends. We're friends. We're don't hold this against me. I'm not holding this against you, whatever the case may be. Fran was a really good person, and she's going to be sorely missed by a lot of people, and both by me and by you. 845-1100, we've got another person holding, so we'll take that call. Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Tom.
Good morning.
I want to talk about some good things about Peteyville.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that you called back, MX, because I know you've been involved with it before, and I was really shocked by some of the ridiculous comments. Like, the people that put this together have some duty and responsibility. If they don't feel like doing it, that's up to them.
But I want to talk really nice about the guy. I think I worked for him for 8 years. And then I got fired, and that's okay. But how it all happened is Preacher sent me down there to do shoe leather traffic, right?
Right.
So I went over there, and I had a cheap flip phone, and I gave it to Peteyville, and I did my shoe leather traffic, right?
Right.
And then the next year, Marty, I have to say his first name, Marty, who was a teacher, Gavitt, asked me, Petey wants you to help him, right, Pete? Casala?
Right.
I said, yeah, I'll go help him. But some of the cool stuff that, people don't know is when he told me to build these train tracks, right? He built this beautiful, nobody ever seen, really. Well, it's up there, but it wasn't the way it was supposed to work. He built this beautiful locomotive out of a 20-gallon tank, and he had garage door open. It was just beautiful.
I remember it. Yep.
But what nobody knows, we had built a round circle. I had. So I came over with trammel points. You know what trammel points are? That's how you arc off to build a circumference. I'm a Boilermaker, so I know this. I says, Pete, I'll take care of it. So I built these tracks, and it was a round circle, and it took up, his front yard, which was pretty good, right?
Right.
And the train fell off the tracks because it was bigger than the tracks, and it was going down Crane Street. And he can't run, and I can't run. And
So the
finally
train
ended
is a
up over
runaway
there at
train?
Gibson Park. But what he had told me, and I'll never forget it, and I used Pete saying, he says, for some reason, sometimes I get a mental block, and I knew this wasn't going to work, but I did it anyways. And what was happening, the circle and the circumference and the diameter of these train tracks had to be bigger for the train he built. But that would have been so cool. And those things are still in storage. He didn't want to throw them away because I labored on it for 2 days, right?
Right.
And I got a picture somewhere. But that was one of the exciting events, was our test run on this train. And we just looked at each other. And I've seen Petey get zapped. And once he gets zapped, he shuts it down. He said, that's it for today. I said, what happened? I got zapped. But I do want to say something, kind words about Pete, that the man, he's getting older. He's had a really good run. He really can't do that by himself. It's just impossible. And as far as Chuck and Jed going down there, when they got done wiring that place, it would be like you were welding from the inside. You'd need a welding hood to see it. But I think, and I hope he doesn't take this wrong, you know what, maybe it's time to say, you know what, I had a good run, just like motocross or basketball, like, let's say, Michael Jordan.
Chairing Pierogi
It's
Fest.
time to go.
Chairing Pierogi Fest. there you go. Look, there's
there
a
you go.
time.
Look at Pierogi Fest.
Yeah, there's a time where you just have to hang it up. And again, if he wants to do that, he has the right to do it. And I just thought it was just purely mean for people to post and say that he had a duty and responsibility. He doesn't have any duty and responsibility to do that any more than you have a duty and responsibility to keep your alley clean, but your alley is the cleanest in Lake County, but that's beside the point. So people do things because they want to. That's why.
Tom, can I chime in?
Sure, go ahead, John. Hold on, let John jump in here. MX,
Okay,
let John jump in.
Thanks, MX. This is one of the subjects I've been talking. I talked to the redhead about this a lot, my mother. We got volunteers, and we make all this great stuff happen in our region. We have just so much great things going on, and Pierogi Fest is a great example. But we have these volunteers, and they do great stuff, and they put on fests, whether it's the PD Festival in Hessville or Pierogi Fest or what have you, St. Patty's Day out in Crown Point. And sometimes, these folks are volunteers, and so as folks are working on a great cause, they start to get this frustration with each other, animosity, and it's all, they're doing stuff for the right reasons, important stuff. Anybody that's volunteering on any committee that's part of anything, can I just say, people get frustrated, that there's pressure to do it right, their name's on it. You know what? Anybody who's volunteering, all they ever deserve is a thank you. Anybody who's volunteering for anything, for any amount of time, if it's 1 year, just say thank you and be grateful that we got them. But I see way too much of this because I'm at all the fests and I'm out there, and folks get funny with people that they want it done differently, etc. When people are coming together to make something happen, we should just all have a gratitude, and we should all be working together. And don't let that frustration. That's correct. Whoever put on that Christmas fest over at the PD, they deserve
Thank
no
you.
criticism. One day they just get tired and accept that. But I that's one of my great frustrations. 30 years out there in the community doing events is sometimes people they throw arrows at people that are doing great things.
That's just it. They like to criticize, but they don't want to help out themselves, and they don't want to lend a hand. They just want to lend an opinion. And sometimes, when you're volunteering, it's like you don't do it for thanks, but after a while, your frustration gets up there. Go ahead, MX.
So if the opinions is, and I learned this early in my Boilermaker career, show me, don't tell me. That Christmas tree at Inland Steel was put up by Boilermakers, my guys. I was still an apprentice, so I couldn't go out in the field and help them. But that stopped when Jimmy Carter was worried about the energy. And if Petey came over with a big thing of cookies and said, MX, made up and this and that, because all I did was work. From the time I got there till I went home, I put up that trellis, you walk through.
Right.
I would tell him, you had a great run, and you're not going to get any younger, and you could get hurt. I seen him in the 8 years that I was helping him, that he was, and it's nothing wrong with that. He was slowing up.
Right.
He was slowing up, and he should be thankful that the run he had, because a lot of people that fall off the ladders get hurt really, really bad.
How long has Peteyville been around?
I'm thinking 30 years, over 30, 33 or something.
I think you're right. I think it's got to be over 30. So
yeah, and even if he brought me over cookies, and I know he fired me for what I don't know, but Jet threw me out too. I'm banned from Freddy's Steakhouse and over here. I've been fired from everywhere. But the thing of
just
it
don't
is,
get fired from the Redneck Riviera, MX. You'll be okay.
No, I got property. You can't get thrown in my own property.
There you go. All right. Hey, thanks so much.
Man.
We got to do another break. All right.
Bye.
Thank you. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll finish off our last half hour here, and then the Town of Dyer show's coming up on WJOB. You're listening to 1230 AM, 104.7 FM in Hammond, Indiana. And it's the morning call with Tom Dabertin and my guest, John Wilkening. We'll be right back. All right, we're back for our last 24 minutes, and I've got to tell you, folks, it's kind of amazing. It is a Thanksgiving miracle. Traffic, actually, in the entire Northwest Indiana Chicago region is looking really good now. So either the map is screwed up or this is a miracle, because traffic on the Dan Ryan, for example, is now basically in good shape all the way into the Chicago Circle. That's amazing. That is unbelievable. It's the traffic backups have dissipated substantially. The Circle looks good. The Kennedy looks good. The Eisenhower looks good. The Edens looks good. 294 going across the line back into Indiana. 8094 is in good shape. The toll road is in good shape except for the toll plaza. Klein Avenue is in good shape, and I-65 is wide open. The only other thing that I see is just a little bit of a hold-up, little backup at the toll plaza on the Skyway eastbound. So that's amazing, because this is supposed to be the busiest travel day of the year. So.
I've had some crazy Wednesdays before the Thanksgiving,
and it looks really, really good today. That's hard to believe. And then there's the weather, and that's time for the cleanest car in America. The owner, Lynette. Go ahead.
Good morning, everyone.
I'm really getting under your skin about that car, aren't I? But look. I mean, you walk in here and you see that car and it shines out there. I mean, even Jed was like, nah, she gets it washed. Unbelievable. Go ahead.
Good morning, everyone. Today we're at 36 degrees with highs of 37 and lows of 27. We'll be having winds gusting past 40 miles per hour. Oof. Should be cloudy and colder with a few straight snowflakes. And it says right now that there's light snow right now. I don't really see anything outside.
I don't see anything either. But again, light snow. It's like it is what it is. But you know what? I tell myself, January. I'm going back to Florida, so we do the show from Florida in January, and kind of looking forward to it.
Will I be joining you for?
I'll tell you what, there's room. We've got 2 bedrooms, 2 baths, so you're welcome to join.
I'll be down in Florida, warm, broadcasting from Tom's place. This is very nice. See what just went on here? I have Gene Novello, if he's listening. He's saying, "Wow, Wilkeny, you close quick."
Well, last year we were down there, and the average high was 82. And the low was 68. And they're saying that we're supposed to get this polar vortex this year in the Chicago area. And what that does is it actually pushes the warm air to flow across Florida even faster. So they're saying that we'll probably have near record temperatures. So, and then it doesn't hurt either, John. At the end of January, early February, they start all the volleyball tournaments on the beach.
Oh,
okay,
there you go.
The American Professional Volleyball Association has their big tournaments out there. So there's a lot to see and do. 845-1100. Don't ask me how I worked that in, but we've got callers, so we'll go right to the callers. Good morning. You're on the air.
Yeah, hi, guys. You guys were talking about the way people dress nowadays out in public, and I guess, we just become a nation of slobs. Let's face it. I get people just want. I don't know if it's because the pace of life is faster nowadays, and people just are rushing from here to there. When I was a kid, I think we had like 80 million people in this country. Now we got like 320 million, and I don't know if that's what it is or whatever. But people, I know personally, as far as I'm concerned, next time I wear a suit, I probably going to be the day I get buried.
But look at the way people dress, even for church.
Right.
I mean, they show up and you've got people and they're wearing, I saw somebody wearing I'm not kidding you, an AC/DC Highway to Hell sweatshirt in church once.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I guess they're trying to get salvation.
I mean, like, people wear the dumbest things. I mean, you see people it's one thing on Sunday, you see people wearing like a Bears jersey or whatever sometime at church, but you see people wearing, they're wearing a Desecchi shirt, that says, do it better in the sand or something. It's like, what? I don't think you're really supposed to wear that going up to communion, but I don't know. People don't dress for anything anymore. I mean,
but I don't know. I think it's because the pace of life is so much faster. I don't know. It just seems like years ago, people weren't rushing around the way they are now. All you got to do, like you're talking about traffic. Typically, it's probably unusual today the way traffic's so light, but typically you try driving through Chicago and it's nothing but gridlock. I mean, it's nothing like it used to be. It just seems like things are a lot quicker paced nowadays. I don't know if that's what contributes to it or what, but it just seems that people just don't have the time like they used to have. It used to be it was an event to go downtown. Now you just jump in a car and you're there in like maybe an hour.
Well, again, it's the way people dress, and the argument that Sean Duffy, the Secretary of Transportation, made was that it spurs bad behavior, especially on airplanes. And so that was his point was, hey, maybe if people dressed a little bit better, they might be a little bit more congenial, they might be a little bit more considerate, because the way people dress on airplanes, again, I've seen people in swimsuits before, and he's right. People are kind of out of control. It's like Greyhound with wings. It's like riding a bus now with wings. You don't get dressed up. I mean, John's in here this morning. He's got on a blazer, okay? But with the exception of maybe banking, John, and possibly the medical field and the legal profession, I don't think people dress up for anything anymore.
I remember when we were kids, we would get on the old IC, go downtown Chicago. Even as a little kid, you had a suit and tie on just to go downtown.
Yeah. You got it at 91st and Commercial?
Yep, you got it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Well, we had Jack and Jill and Gazda's, right?
right. No, you're right. You went to your mom and dad took you to clothing stores, and you got dressed up. And, of course, he's from Whiting Roberts Hill, so he remembers Jack and Jill and Gazda's.
Your mom buy you school clothes as you hid underneath we'd hide underneath the clothes in the racks as we were buying
Right.
stuff.
You didn't want them, but you had to get them.
So
I remember when Jack Kennedy came in the office, he was really avant-garde because he refused to wear a hat. Men all wear hats. If you're outside, you're wearing a hat. Stetson, something.
Well, you remember they used to drive down 119th Street. I can remember when they drive past St. John, they would tip their hat even if they were in their car.
Yeah.
They would tip their hat. And the other thing is that it used to be a practice is when you went by a church, at least Catholics, they made the sign of the cross.
Yeah.
But
I remember my wife telling me, her ex, his mom, she would go into the doctor's appointment, dress up, a suit, nylons, high heels, a whole shooting match, just go to a doctor. It's just the way it was back then, what's changed, I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you what, you mentioned that, and I know a lot of doctors, and I've had several doctors tell me that those people that you see shopping over at Strachan Van Til in their pajamas this morning that just jumped out of bed and didn't shower, that there is a huge increase in the number of people who go to doctor's appointments without showering before they go to the doctor.
Yeah.
I mean, that
I
to
feel
me,
sorry for healthcare workers.
that's hazard pay.
That is absolute hazard pay. Hey, thanks so much. Thanks so much for calling. Hey, do you have a suggestion for our list of giving thanks for all the wrong reasons? Something
well,
you want to?
I don't know about the wrong reasons, but I tell you what, I've been going to University of Chicago now. They've saved my life probably twice in the last 10 years. The healthcare workers there, the people there are the best on the planet. I just love them.
They absolutely are. I was there last week. You're absolutely right. I had a friend of mine. She fell down the stairs at work. She ruptured her spleen, her lung, broke 2 ribs, and has a ruptured vein on her head from a contusion. And she got transferred to University of Chicago, and she had never been there before and said it was just remarkable. She couldn't believe the care and service.
Yeah,
Amazing.
they're godsends. I'll tell you. I can't think of anything giving thanks for the wrong reasons, but definitely those people are the best.
I'm with you on
the
that.
oncology department there, the hematology oncology department there, they're the best. I'll tell you, bar none.
Yeah, I look. I don't mind talking about it. I'm going there next Friday. I'm getting a heart monitor put into my chest. So they explained to me that it's better to have the monitor implanted than to not get it and run the risks. So I'm going.
Right.
So, Yep, great
you got to do
place.
what you got to do, and they're like I say, they're like a I don't know, they've really done good by me. I can't I probably wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for them. Just simple as that.
Yep. No, they're great. They're absolutely great. Hey, thank you so much.
All
Have
right,
a great
guys.
Thanksgiving.
You too. You guys take care.
Hey, Tom?
Yes.
You know what I like to thank, something silly that only Whiting folks would know?
What's that?
I'd like to thank Mayor Speebar for that back room of the old Speebar's Tavern where he had that miniature pool table that you could buy at J.J. Newberry's. You know, Mayor, I'm busting you up a little bit, but I wish we would have knocked out a wall. Remember, he said that he had that. You got on that one wall, you had to cut the stick in half so you got enough room to shoot. Because after playing at Speebar's, wherever I play now, it's got a full size table and it's not stuck.
You don't know how to play.
A house pantry. You just do much better. So, Mayor, I want to thank you for making me play with the J.J. Newberry little stick for pool because it really helped me out everywhere else. I mean, so there's one.
That's
there's
a good
Whiting
one. That's
story.
a good one. You're right. Only people from Whiting would
You
get that
3
one.
good shots, and then you get over that last wall. And
Well, here, I'll give you one. A lot of people remember. The Whiting Community Center Gymnasium for basically making a baseline shot impossible.
Oh, my God. Larry Bird couldn't hit from the corner of the community center. The track's there, and at one corner you got the radiator.
Yep.
Poopsie Pollock, Michael Pollock, IC kid, great Whiting player. He had that shot from the side, and he could clear from the corner. But everybody else was hitting the radiator or hitting underneath the track.
Absolutely. I mean, if you have any arc on it to this day, you cannot take a baseline shot of the Whiting Community Center. So you're right about that. That's another one. But I put that one down for Speebar's back room with a miniature pool table because that's a great one. That's a great memory of Whiting Robertsdale. And you know, the other thing is that this time of the year, and you and I were talking about it the other day. As soon as George Lake freezes, which it doesn't take much for George Lake to freeze, right? So you know, you have all the people out there playing hockey, and but there are those openings. There are those, you know, basically where the groundwater comes up, they say the springs. And it never fails that somebody goes out there and walks on that thin ice, and it's only 3 or 4 feet deep. But they, you know, coming back after you go through that ice.
Yeah, you know, the great thing, too, during the winter, the leeches are inactive. I mean, you know.
The leeches, you're right, the leeches are inactive.
My God, when you were a kid, you go fishing over there with the pocket fisherman or the Zepco 202, and God forbid you stepped in the water, your buddy better have had a Bic or a tube of Morton salt to get him off you.
Now, here, I've got one from Mark from Hobart, just text me. What about St. Casimir's gym? I remember back in the 80s playing CYO basketball there and had to check the ball. And you had 1 foot in and 1 foot out because the building was barely bigger than the court.
That's fact.
Now, I don't remember playing at St. Casimir Gym. We didn't play there. We played at St. John. We played at Whiting Community Center. We played at St. Tom's in Munster. We played at a lot of places. I don't remember St. Casimir.
You know, I played when I was in 3rd grade with Poopsie Pollock team. That was a good 5th grade team. And we lost, and Moon Riscosi was in 4th grade. And we lost to St. Cas in their gym. And as the guy hit the shot at the buzzer, you know, not that far. I wasn't half court or anything. But, boy, he sure stopped in front of that icy bench and did his dance. And I think they played us again at St. John the Baptist gym.
Well, I remember seeing.
And they piled it on. Then.
Well, I remember when I was coaching some years ago, and the gym at St. Joseph's in Dyer wasn't too great either. 845-1100, we've got another caller, so we'll take that call. Good morning, you're on the air.
Hey, good morning. It's you. Happy Thanksgiving. It's Brad Gimbel. What's going on?
Brad, how are you now? So what stupid thing would you like to give thanks for that just drives you crazy? What would it be? You got to put it on the list.
Okay, 2 things. One thing, I thank you for getting us through each and every week, coming in on Wednesday hump day and making it much easier.
Well, I appreciate the compliment.
You're welcome. I guess you know what? I have to be honest. I'm actually grateful, even though I know it affects commerce somewhat, but traffic has not been that bad. Let's face it. I am thankful for being able to cruise around the region lately in the last week, and I haven't run into hardly any traffic, although I heard yesterday Indianapolis Boulevard was an absolute nightmare. But I guess that's pretty much it for me. I mean, I'm thankful for so many things, and I've just been able to accomplish a ton of things in the last week because of the traffic being so light.
Well, it's crazy because if you heard the traffic a few minutes ago, there's really no traffic in Chicago right now.
Right.
And
It's
that doesn't make
wonderful.
sense. I checked. In fact, I actually reloaded I thought, okay, it might not be refreshing, so I reloaded it completely, the page, and it's still showing very light traffic in Chicago, which is amazing because, hey, it's the day before Thanksgiving, and all you're going to hear about is the traffic in Chicago, and there's no traffic.
I often wonder if some of the conspiratorial theorists are right that the refugees have left the area and no one comes here anymore due to the mayor of Chicago.
Oh,
I don't know.
There's okay. You know what, Brad? I'm going to add him to the list of things of all the wrong things to give thanks for. I'm going to add him to the list because of you. So, Mayor Brandon
Thanks.
Johnson, there you go. I mean, what a disaster that guy is, and he's just getting worse. I mean, did you hear his explanation the other night? You had 11 people got shot, 2 killed because of the tree lighting ceremonies, and these kids running around Chicago. And then he basically says that it would be racist to put people in jail. How's it racist to put people in jail? I don't get that.
Well, I guess the kids just didn't have enough to do. I mean, carrying guns around the city and stuff and shooting at people. I mean, we could have built a gymnasium. Oh, you know what? I don't know why we don't have more bike lanes. The kids could have just been riding bikes and having fun and rolling through the city, and everything would have been okay. I find that to be absolutely, really kind of scary. And I think the denial of the safety of the city really has to come into question because, I'm sorry, there is so much, and I'll be very brief with this, that is not being reported. I know for a fact that they are not reporting it, and they're not allowed to report it to keep the statistics down in certain economic areas that are, well, let's just say between Armitage and Chicago Avenue, west of North Avenue and east of Western. If you live in that area, you are not allowed to report the crime. So, but
You're
anyway,
so right about that.
to,
There's a lot of misreporting and underreporting of crime in Chicago. You're right.
It's insanity. But I wanted to ask your guest, the last time I called, you said there were, quote, more important things than Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. But I just wanted to say that President Trump and his son now own more crypto than literally anyone. They took in $800 million off of sales, 11,500 Bitcoins were purchased, and they hold a whopping $22.5 billion in their own World Liberty Financial Token, the WLF. So I wanted to ask you, John, have you or your credit union changed their stance on the importance of cryptocurrency, and does the credit union have any plans to offer it to region customers?
Yes, they do, and we're working right now with Becky Reed through Bank Social. And I think I talked to you the last time I talked to you, we were really studying stablecoin after the Genius Act. And when we talked 2 times ago, and I said that, I've been at tech roughly 2 years, 25 months now. So what I was saying to you see how big we've become. You've seen, the way we've gone off and returned to our roots. So when I said there was bigger priorities, it was really getting tech ready as the financial institution, the only financial institution in this county that is owned by the people for the people. And so doing our labor movement and taking care of our friends of labor, that was our priority. But I am knee deep on stablecoin. And, in future episodes or when I'm in one of these webinars, reach out to me. I'd love to have you come sit in on them. But you know what? People want a fast payment system. They want one that crosses barriers, converts, and stablecoin is bringing all that to the table. So I think you hear my enthusiasm. And believe me, folks, tech is leading the banking world in Chicagoland now. It is over, okay? With the banks, the families make the money. The shareholders make the money. At the credit union, everybody that banks with us is our owner. So, you know what? It's tech time. Buckle up.
There you go, Brad.
Oh, yes, it absolutely is. I appreciate you guys' effort. I definitely am a little weary of the stablecoin. I think there's going to be more to it, and I definitely want to take you up on that cup of coffee you offered me because I think that I can bring in a few interesting points that haven't been touched on from a 30-year tech veteran and someone who spoke at the North American Bitcoin Conference, the first conference in 2014 in McCormick Place with guys like Vitalik Buterin, Andre Montanopoulos, and those guys invited me to speak in their workshop. So, yeah, anytime you want to have coffee, let's do it. I'm sure I can add. Or let me just sit in if possible, because I'm sure I can add to the conversation.
Well, we'll definitely be having
we'll
have a meeting. Tom's got my contact information.
I put you guys together. I'll put you guys together.
Thank you again.
Awesome. You guys have a great Thanksgiving. And, dude, I'm so happy for you, man. Both of you guys. I'm really happy that you guys are making this move. That's exciting for region people. That's all I've been trying to do is get the word out about this, and it's really cool and exciting to me that someone in our community is actually finally doing it. Go off, John.
All right. Very good, Brad. Have a happy Thanksgiving. All right. Well, we are getting near the end. I see the town of Dyer. I see Bob's out there. Bob is going to come on this morning. He's going to talk about the new dress code that the town of Dyer is putting in for shopping at local establishments in the town of Dyer. I'm just kidding. Bob's sitting there. Yeah, right. Yeah, he's working on it. He's working on it. But no, I'll tell you what. It's always fun to be here. John, thanks so much. This is a lot of fun. It's fun to have you because you have some of the same memories of growing up in Whiting Robertsdale and talking about penny candy and all the crazy things that went on up there. It's just fun to have you here, and it's fun to have you talk, too, about what's going on with Tech Credit Union and banking. And Brad Gimbel's a true expert on Bitcoin and those kinds of currencies. And so I think you guys it'd be a really interesting conversation for you two to get together.
Oh, we are going to get together. You better be careful. I might hire him. Hey, Tom, I want to say real quick, and I'll be really quick. God bless WJOB and Jed TV. I've always talked about what it meant to me growing up in Goose Island with the refinery fires. They let me know when I came home. Tom, I want to acknowledge you. I know you're humble. And you're slowing down on the retirement with Pierogi Fest, but God bless you for everything you've done for my hometown, and it's made a difference. It really has. I consider you a great friend, so I don't want that to not go unsaid. To my brothers and sisters of labor, I am building something for you that's so magnanimous. Get into the Tech Credit Union now. Gene Novello, best CEO in the country. Eric Rausch, top CFO, coming over from Notre Dame with me. And to the 21 people that joined me from Notre Dame Federal Credit Union to build this union army that is now changing banking across the region. God bless you. Team Tech, one team. I love you all. Happy Thanksgiving, region. And I give great thanks for my mother, my wife, my sister, my daughters, my son-in-law, my grandchildren, and great friends like Tom.
Well,
there I am.
And the same thing. Look, I want to give thanks to my wife, Donna, to my kids, to my brothers and sister, my sister who is listening right now, God knows where, but she'll text me afterwards and tell me any mistake that I possibly could have made. And to all my family and friends, and just a shout out to a guy that I've been friends with now since I was 5 years old, which means 60 years of friendship, Rick Mossels, and I know he's listening. And even to my dogs, look, it's wonderful. It's wonderful to do this radio program every week. And I've got to say, for all of you listening and all of you who call, you're like family. It's a lot of fun. It's just fun. It's a highlight of my week. And I appreciate so much the opportunity to be here. And I got to thank Jed and Alexis for letting me do this program every week. So thank you to all of you who listen and all of you who call in on a regular basis. And know that I keep you in my heart and mind and my thoughts all the time and my prayers, because you're part of my life. And so I just can't sign off without saying that. And I hope you have the very best Thanksgiving possible. Enjoy the day, enjoy the time with family and friends, and, enjoy the memories too, because part of tomorrow also for me is remembering all the wonderful things that and all the wonderful people that have touched my life, starting with my mother and all of my relatives who've passed on now, and all my friends. And, we talked about Fran Dupé. She's one of a litany of people that have passed, But again, I just spend a minute, if you can, pausing and giving thanks for all the wonderful people that you've come in contact with in your lives. And we will see you back here next week on Wednesday morning at 6 a.m. right here on WJOB 1230 AM 104.7 FM. Don't forget, we have two teams going to the state finals this week. We have Maryville and Andrean. You're going to be able to watch it on Jed TV, listen to it on WJOB, so that's coming up this weekend. And, of course, there's also a little game, the IU-Purdue game, the Oaken Bucket game, which is the Bucket's going to get kicked right down the road this year by IU, but it's going to be fun. So have a great weekend, folks. Thank you so much for listening to me. I look forward to talking to you next week at this time. Bye-bye.